We are very close to the end of the road here because it is time to get into our recap review of episode 9 of season 2 of Power Book 4 Force. This episode is titled No Loose Ends, directed and also returning director of this season, Lisa Demaine, written by Terry Coop and James Slainmann. This episode synopsis reads: Tommy and Diamond suspect a snitch and put their inner circle to the test as the war between Miguel and Mirković comes to a head. And as I mentioned, this is episode 9, and you hear that the war between Miguel and Mirković comes to a head here.
It definitely came to someone's head.
Yeah, that's for sure. But what an insane episode tonight. Lucas and I are ready to do what we do best, and that's breaking it all down. I do give you all fair warning. We typically try to keep these to an hour. I don't know how we do that magic tonight because there's a lot to cover. And I think there's things that
God knows how long.
True that. I think there's things too people aren't going to pick up on because I definitely have some notes, and I'm curious if you picked up on. Of course you did, but we're going to make sure that even the small things that I think you all might have missed out on, we're going to make sure that we spotlight that. But again, this is episode 209. Hopefully you all are buzzing and raving after watching tonight's episode, so definitely get in the comments, like, subscribe, notification bell, and then join us on Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our live show where we interact with you all and we talk about the 3 big moments of this week's episode, which for sure I got one already in the can. But we're starting off with Diamond and Tommy, and they're trying to figure out who the snitch is. And yes, they handled the body of his PO officer. Looks like it's some graveyard, some junkyard. I ain't gonna say a junkyard because junkyard, these cars are taken care of. This is a graveyard of cars here, but yeah, they handle it with no problem. But at the same time, while handling the body, Tommy throws out his suspicion. I think it's Jenard. Diamond says, no, not my brother. He knows that there's one thing that he's not. And he says there's one thing worse than death, and that's snitching. So he would never do that. And then Diamond thinks it's Vic. Right on the button there. Everyone's getting put to the test. What did you think about there's a couple of little questions here. What did you think about Diamond being correct here? And what did you think about what do you think about Tommy, and let's just keep it kind of marginalized here. What did you think about Tommy's suspicion of Jenard and being wrong, obviously, and Diamond and Vic and being right?
Well, to me, it was all personal. Those are personal choices being made there. When you see Tommy blaming Jenard, it's the easy choice. It's Jenard. Like, we just allowed him back in here. Even Diamond blaming Vic, I figure it's the easy choice. Like, we don't know who this is. We don't still trust the Flynn's. Of course it's Vic that's doing that. So I thought both of them played true to themselves in that they picked those 2 characters to be the person who was snitching. And we knew they were never going to agree on who the person was snitching because it's too many reservations both of them have with each party. Like, just look at quickly Diamond was to say, no, that's not Jenard. He knows the code of the streets. And Tommy have to point out, he's literally tried to kill us multiple times.
Yeah.
Like, you can't say that. Whether you have Vic, though, and Diamond bringing up Vic's name, and Tommy's like, nah, but I saw him, which I knew was going to come into play. I saw him shoot a Fed. So it's almost saying, nigga, you can't be the person snitching because I literally saw what you did. I'm a witness to it. Like, in the end, you're not going to get away with that.
Yeah.
But it's a good mixture between them two and seeing where their loyalties lie with everyone else.
Yeah. I do agree. I didn't think about like it being personal, but I definitely thought that like Tommy not being right here is a little telling. For just how long has Tommy just I guess we can really almost pinpoint just how long has he been oblivious to what's happening around him. And ultimately, I don't know when I wanted to say this in this episode, but I'll just say this now. Tommy's paranoia is really loud. So on 1,000.
Mhm.
And this is a way
For
that
sure.
we haven't really seen him like that. This is a guy you can almost say felt like he was untouchable when it came down to what he does on
Mhm.
the streets. He beefed up his security, and I'll just leave it at that because there's some other things he did. But I'm gonna wait till we get to a scene.
Man, there
But
you go.
Tommy's paranoia is very high, and I think for him to just project his paranoia on Jenard is
Mhm.
hilarious because that's typical
We-
Jenard action.
There you
To
go.
just-
Like, who knew? Like, who else could it be? Why would we trust a crackhead?
Yeah,
What, snitching? Yep.
just yeah. So interesting. But yeah, let's get to the next scene because this is even more interesting. I love that my man Bobby is out here grabbing his grapefruits, in the words of the great Vince McMahon, with Stacy. Because Stacy wants to arrest Tommy on murder charges for killing Vargas, but DeFranco threatens to walk if she does.
Mhm.
Because
Hey.
she's ready to arrest this guy. And
Mhm.
to the point where the question of does truth even matter anymore? And he said not only would he choose to walk, but he will testify against her.
Yeah.
These are very high level threatening words that's happening here. And you know, he said something I think one of us said, and I won't say it's me, but one of us said for sure at some point that
Mhm.
this race to the office has changed her. But he said, you know, do you even care about doing the right thing? This case is changing us, which is a very nice way of him accepting a bit accountability for something that has nothing to do with him. He's done everything right, but he's being fair and he's trying to really connect with her by saying,
Please his wife. Yeah.
Please his wife. What did you think about this first sort of just introduction of morality, verbal morality? Because he's been very ethical the entire time, but this is his first really strong, like laying out the cards. Before he says like can't do it, stop, called his name. I mean, honestly, at this point, how can you not like Bobby as just a stand-up guy? He tried to weave through to connect with her, like, hey, cut it out. Now he's like, listen, that's it. You're not coming correct. And I'm out. And not only am I out, I will make sure that you're out of a job if need be, in jail for that. Probably wouldn't get jail, but you know, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, I'm not letting this slide. What did you think about Bobby grabbing his grapefruits in this scene?
It was about damn time. That's all I thought of. Especially when he told her the obvious, which is, if you pursue this, I'm gonna make myself available to the defense.
Yeah.
Like, that's a heck of a thing to say. They're saying that I'm not dealing with your BS anymore.
Yeah.
You rise to positions over and over and over again, and you want to put us in a bigger one. And he's just too by the book to ever be put in those ways and to be okay with him.
Yeah.
And I love that they show him that way.
Yeah.
Because it's something we need to see to understand. Like, she fell in love with this man. But this man now is like, look, we have to be fair. In the end, if we're building a case, as he said it, we're building a case, we got to build it the correct way.
Yeah.
And just to hear her talk, correct is not her issue. She wants to do it as fast as possible and bring those people into justice.
Justice, air quotation marks.
Well, her form of justice. Clearly, it's not real justice.
Yeah.
We know who really did that murder, and it wasn't Tommy.
Yeah. And as you mentioned, like, you forced Vic to confess to something that wasn't even a true confession. That's not I mean, and even they
nothing
said, like,
to do with him.
Yeah, and they even said that on the tape isn't even enough for them to arrest him. I don't know. At some point in this episode, I started to not understand the law because I was definitely confused about like, and I noticed the conversation of like what's admissible in court and what's not. But then there's also like, well, what's also like qualifies you for a warrant outside of an arrest? I was so confused at some point because one where they're like, oh, we can do this bug, but we can't arrest. So I don't know. But either way, I do like that Bobby, because Stacey has no respect for Bobby. She has no respect for him professionally.
Is that what
She
you
has
got
no
out of
respect.
that?
No, not out of this. Overall, she does not
Oh,
respect
okay.
him, and she doesn't
No.
respect him professionally. She doesn't respect him as a man. She doesn't respect him as a spouse. He just happens to be a resource to him. In fact, Stacey's no different than Claudia. She besides the
Wait a minute.
besides the misogynistic nature of her family, she will do any bit of she will use anybody could be used as collateral and be used as leverage in order for her to achieve what she wants and needs. And the list just goes on and on and on and on and on. And Bobby is just another victim where he's just in the crosshairs, like, I can use you.
Well, but if you pay attention to their relationship, though, in the way, I think she absolutely loves Bobby.
It's weird. I don't even feel that affection.
I think they're just in a compromising position. Like, in the end, I have a job to do. And we saw in the prior episodes when people want to go come down on her, she's like, I still have a job to do. Like, I still have to do this. I think that's the issue. He played the role of the person like that just stuck out, and then that was it. So, but what is your reaction off of that?
Yeah,
and that's the problem with her and Bobby, is what is your reaction off of that? You knew when you got with him how honest this man was going to be.
But did she respect it though?
Saw that.
There was, I mean, but like,
as long as it wasn't as long as it had nothing.
Yep. Nope. Keep going.
I'm gonna say it, but I got to do disclaimer. Not all women, but as long as it's not in front of my face, I have no issue with it, because it does not. It does not bring a conflict for me to have to care about. You can do whatever you want to do. You can be honest as possible, but the moment your honesty would affect me negatively, nah, I don't like that at all. I think that's the issue with Stacey and Bobby, is that she knew he was an honest cop, but it never got in the way of her work. It's finally in the way of her work, and now we got to see how she responds to it.
She prioritizes her work over everything. That's the issue. And Bobby prioritizes her over everything, because
that's a good way to put it.
He respects his job. But if he truly respected his job before her, he would have threw her under the bus a long time ago. Wow. She would throw him under the bus right away if there was an opportunity.
Like, that's the sad part, is you sense that immediately. Like, she's just waiting for someone to ask her. And Bobby's name's going to be on everything.
She literally looked across the room and says, "We need that bug in Tommy's house." And she looked at him like, "You got this." And he had to come up with the idea of like, "No, Vic got to do it." She's like, "Oh yeah, Vic, that's right. Who is your CO?" That should have been your first option the entire time.
Clearly your first option.
She would have clearly let her husband go in there and do it in the heat of thing. And they already talked about the security. This guy's a threat as it is. And you're just like, Bobby, please, Bobby. Bobby. Wow. But anyway, I don't know.
Wow. Yeah. You gotta put that, get an end of the show like, Bobby. Bobby. Next thing you know, they're gonna be in a little joint when they do like this, and they side by side.
Oh man! All right, so the brothers, Demaine and Jenard. This was a good scene. Actually, I really like the episode for the two of them, because this is brothers. You know, they're obviously in the drug game, but this is just brothers coming to check up on him, and obviously Jenard is able to put together everything that's happening with Gianna and Leon and so on. But Demaine tells Jenard, "Listen, I want you to find out who killed Leon." But Jenard makes it very clear, "I'm just checking up on you. This ain't no business, just because I'm your brother." This scene was short, but I also think there's a lot to kind of talk about here. Were you surprised that the OG on the block, Mr. CBI himself, sent his brother to find out who killed Leon in the manner that he did? And I ain't just saying, "Hey, I'm curious. Could you inquire about who might have killed Sir Leon?" In fact, he says I want you to find that motherfucker that killed. For a minute, I was thrown back. I was like, huh? You mean this teenager Leon? Just some look, and you know it was a young dude too. So hold on. You're sending your brother.
Yeah.
You know, that's a.
Wait. Go ahead. Keep on talking.
I got to tell you, I answer it. This is an emotional response from Diamond we haven't seen. This is the first glimpse of the old Diamond, the emotionally responding Diamond, the Jenard side of Diamond, because I don't think he should have emotionally felt the need to send goons after a teenager in the way he did. This could be very close to a hit if need be.
It's a hit.
It becomes a hit later for sure.
Yeah.
But this was very much like a wait, what? I know you're hurting, bro, but like this is also contradictory to anything he would have said any earlier in the season. So this is why I'm saying this is truly the turning of the page, but also like turning the back of the page into who we know him to be. What was your thoughts? How did you break this down?
First, because this is the most important part of it. From Diamond telling Jenard what he wanted to have him do, I'd say that is him giving him an order.
Oh, 1,000%.
There was no love in that. That was, you're going to do this because I said so.
Yeah.
And I want this done now. He treats, that's why I say it wasn't a situation where it was, I don't think any part of it played into that's my brother. It played more of, no, I need this done. And I want this done. So with him being in so much pain and they're showing him in so much pain, hurt, it would only make sense that one of the first people he would lash out onto is Jenard. So I'm more interested to see, okay, we saw what happened in this episode. What happens next episode? Will we get an introduction of Diamond and it become very violent?
Yeah.
Because as his brother, I feel I can do it and it'd be fine.
Yeah. My jaw
like,
kind of
like, hey,
like damn.
It's a short scene, but it's a powerful scene into Diamond's mindset, which he carries on for the rest of the episode. Like this is an ongoing issue for him, is that he doesn't. I wonder will we ever get anything to show just how he ran everything, because I would love to know if he's the same person who can't give up anything back then.
Yeah.
Or if jail changed it.
Yeah. Whew. More to talk about that later. Miguel, Mireya, and Grandma is the Garcia family, folks. There's a lot kind of going on here because Miguel not only is proposing the idea of merging CBI with the insane princes so that he could be the main connect, and obviously this is a way of taking out Tommy, but it's interesting because he wants to be Shay's sole distributor. He also says, like, first of all, I'm going to talk. I'm just going to say it now. Our boy leader, Grandma, because I'm just going to get out the way. I've been very, very high on this character. I really wanted more for this character. I'm very upset about the death of this character. The first thing that I really liked very early in this episode is Miguel looking to her and saying, and if I do this, you can return as the queen you are. This sets up a theory that Grandma may have took a hiatus from the business, and there may be discussions that she wants to get back fully involved here.
Yes.
There was a tidbit later on in the episode that says, without Grandma, who is truly the evil one that pulls the string with Miguel, makes Miguel who he is, I'm just like, I'm ready for this. This is more. I ain't gonna say this is more. This is as much intriguing as old Diamond as it is for like old Grandma. Like, what was her game about? And we saw that Shay truly respects her. Like, we talked about the whole table scene at the quinceañera last episode, but like a lot is kind of brewing up right here with this. But nonetheless, once Miguel mentioned that he wants to kill Tommy, Mireya had a Max Payne moment. And if anybody have ever played or watched that Payne, that heartbeat was like doom, doom. She was in a trance, bro.
And then Mireya was moving in bullet time.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, bro. But what's also kind of funny, I mean, like, and I bring up the idea, I mean, the statement that Miguel saying to her, like, you can return as the queen you are. That wasn't captioned. So when Mireya was in this trance, you had to listen to what he was saying to her, and he was saying some things to her, and I thought that was interesting because I think if the fate of Grandma wasn't what it was, that would have been a whole nother plot element in terms of, is Miguel running the vehicle to really
Grandma running everything?
Bingo. So other than that, she wanted to borrow the car, which I thought was interesting. It's like, oh, Grandma was driven around all last time. Now she wants to borrow the car because her car is in the shop. How is the Queen Pin car in the shop? I knew something bad was happening at this moment. What did you think about this entire scene here with everything?
One, the moment they had the conversation about, I need to borrow your car. Nothing positive was going to happen from that scene. And I did love the way they played with Nunez was supposed to pick up Grandma. And she went on her own and said, well, I'll just go on my own. I literally counted down when she got in the car. When she did that, I said 3, 2, 1, boom. Like it was clear that was going to happen because it was clear it was a setup for Miguel. And again, all we had to do is go back to Grandma's words last week when she told Miguel about Nunez and about how little of attention you've been paying him. So then it makes it look, in this episode, you understand this ain't coming out the blue. This ain't like a couple of weeks. It almost sounds like since CBI really, really started moving weight, he completely left his partner behind. And you can't do that and think everything's going to be fine. As it pertains to the ramifications of this, listen, because I want to know, are we going to go into all of Grandma's relationships now that she's gone?
Yeah, 1,000%. Because
I think that's going to be the who's who of banking and of extravagance.
Yeah. So even before the scene ends, Mireya's upset, because of the threat to kill Tommy. So she leaves. He's talking about no kids for your brother. Grandma's watching too, and Mireya looks pissed. But it's just foreshadowing for things to come. Anyway, we have the Serbs and Roberto Ortega from Detroit, which we see this meeting happening at a new club. This is a funny scene right here. This is entirely funny scene. But he meets with Mirković, meets with Roberto, again a part of the Marquez cartel as the new supplier. And
attempted to become the new supplier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So he's very much Claudia kind of eavesdropping there, but she ends up becoming part of this meeting. He's enchanted, which I thought was a funny use of words here. I mean, it's by definition it fits, but it's just like Claudia does that, man. Everybody loves her when they see her. I don't blame them, but
it's the way she talked. She talked a beautiful game. You'd be like, man, she knows exactly what stay. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because she definitely came with her PowerPoint presentation. Like she pitched analytics, statistics, security, 5-year plan. Exactly. I mean, she had it all together for what she's done for the Serbs. And
I don't know why I thought she was about to say, and she got security plus. Like, wait, damn.
Yeah, she definitely read off her accolades, all her certifications she got, and she is a fled. He says, let's do business. And, he makes the threat saying like, listen, if you're going to be a part of this, like you either get this right or it's going to be worse than you wish you had never even made this deal. So Claudia promises to pay for the drop. Mirković says that she has to be solely responsible for it if she's going to be a
Yep.
part of this. That's why he'll pull security. So yeah, listen, I love all of this because one, you either have to pay for the drop, you lose my security, but this is Elise's club. So Mirković, I gotta tell you, Mirković is like the best Ponzi scheme of all time here.
Hey,
Him providing security that
Bernie
got him
Madoff 2.0, Joe.
Clearly, my man got a whole stage like this is how we rocking because they're not doing good. Let's not forget that.
No.
But because of his security, he got somebody fronting the drop. He got a whole little setting making it look like they're doing well, which is Elise's. I mean, Claudia really does. It's really kind of the plug right now, but I liked how there was mutual benefit that made sense for everybody involved here. But what did you think about Roberto meeting with Mirković? What do you think about this whole new cartel that's being introduced to Marquez Cartel? I mean, ultimately, what did you think about Claudia inserting herself in this business?
We talked about this 2 weeks ago. We said, okay, now that all of these moves are being made, it's got to be other people who are selling drugs somewhere. So this introduction of a new cartel was going to be key because we also wondered how would the Serbs attempt to recover. And clearly this is their plan, to buy from someone else. So the introduction made sense. The thing is, from an audience perspective, we already have to understand how this will not work out well for the Serbs. Like, this is not something that you do and then you keep the little bit of clientele you have left by telling them you've moved on to someone else. That's what I'm more interested to see. How is that dynamic going to play its way out?
Yeah.
Because that's the most important one here. We understand the man, woman, or whatever Claudia is. We fully get it, and we get the way she operates. But that's what makes that character so fun to watch at times.
Yeah.
And I lost a train of thought that fast. But with that being the case, and again, that character being so good to watch it, you gotta wonder, where does that lead the Serbs at? Are we seeing the beginning of the end to them?
For right now, until they reload. They got bodies for days.
Oh man, they got putties everywhere. Like they are Darth Vader when he come out with the Starship Troop and the motherfuckers is like lined up and you're
all
like,
the clones.
This is never ending. This is never ending. That's what they do. But you got to wonder again. I think that's the key element of it, is them attempting to destroy this meeting with this connect, because they understand if they get another one, they become unstoppable.
Yeah. Shout out to Elise being valuable in the shadows. Thought it was really cool that, they say she had connections to the clubs. Her mom obviously is as big as the player's grandma is for the cartel. And we'll learn a little bit more about that later. But I thought it was really cool. I did like this location
this whole time.
Still am.
Talking about her little 80 outfits and all.
But anyway, CBI meeting. Talking about the feds are on to us. Marshall is there. So Marshall making that statement on the crew has it that he would be in episode 9 and 10. We was wondering where he was at. I mean, it's easy to kind of put him in the backdrop for all these CBI meetings. But yes, he's there. But Tommy and Demaine are handing out new burner phones because they are, first of all, they tell everybody that the feds are on to them. So this is why they're going to switch up the phones. However, Tommy and Demaine internally had a discussion that, there's a snitch among us, and this is the way of them trying to figure out, what's it going to be? Who it is. And
who it is.
Tommy taking his little chance and little shot at Jenard again, and Demaine saying Jenard's not a snitch. But as he mentioned, Jenny Sue got a connection with the phone company, so that way they're going to be able to pull the records on all these phones. And everybody's just looking around crazy like, why are we switching phones? First of all, I guess really quickly,
these niggas have never sold drugs before. Or even if you haven't sold drugs before, damn it, you've seen a wire before. You know what you don't do? If you don't have to hold a phone for that long period of time, it's the best thing in the world for you if you switch phones every day. What is there to complain about? You don't work at Walmart or Fogo de Chao or any of these places that regular folk work. You sell drugs.
Yeah, laughable that they had an issue with this. That's rival. It's just like, though. Like, it's not like I gotta even go get them. Like, they're supplying them, and every meat that y'all have, you just swap it out. You know, Jenard out here worried about his hoes. He has one girl who's also in CBI. Probably should have been in the meeting right next to him. So, hey, you know what? That's hilarious, though. That's hilarious that Jenard out here talking about like having to give his number out to his chicks. Bro, you faking. Everybody know who you pussy whipped by.
It ain't nothing new. Nothing new under the sun. Just admit it and move forward with everything. But that's what makes it so fun, because they still won't do it in the end. That bravado kicks in, and that's it, Joe. You stuck one place.
Hilarious, man. So yeah, everybody looking crazy. Vic already sweating his pants because he know. But anyway, so Stacy says that they got the warrant to bug his loft. But they need a plan to infiltrate, and they have got intel about Tommy new house security because he beefed that baby up. And as I mentioned earlier, she was looking around the room like, who's gonna do it? Bobby. But Bobby comes out with the brilliant, it's not even a brilliant idea, it's literally the only option that should have ever been mentioned, that should have been mentioned in the very first place. Vic can plant the bug. So on to the next scene. But I will say really quickly again,
how horribly he planned that bug though.
Oh, it's bad for sure.
Underpoint of planting bugs is that you can never find it.
Yeah,
under the table is the last place you do a bug.
Yeah. Shout out to Vic for being a bad snitch or rat. He has not been executing as good at all, and that's good for him because a well-groomed and a well-groomed snitch is not good for anybody.
Not at all. They're the worst things in the world.
Yeah. But it should be mentioned that Tommy's security is really beefed up, and they said it's happened within like the last week or so. When did Tommy get so invested into the security of his place? The paranoia ain't from people trying to shoot him up last season.
No.
It ain't about people just randomly popping up at his place, Miguel. So what was the turning factor about it? Oh, it's because the feds are on to him and he was aware of it, and he knows that there's a snitch in his vicinity here. What were you going to say about this? Because the next scene is the scene after this is going to be very important.
Well, I wanted to go into the scene after this.
Okay, well, first of all,
other than that, I'm spoiling every fucking thing, Jim.
Yeah. First of all, quick stop at Leon house as we see the memorial set up out front. So Demaine apologizes to Gianna. The whole entire time, Gianna, the mom, is she's not doing good. He brings over a pair of shoes and a comment that he left at the gym. But she's not doing good. I thought this was very believable. She looks a mess and emotional. But of course Jamal would be there, right? Like,
I'm going to say, we're going to get to the unbelievable part of it. Like, y'all just wasn't together. What happened that fast? Did Leon passing away like make that where now he runs everything for her again? Like this relationship is the funniest element of this show because it does not make any sense. No, anyway. Not the characters, the relationship. But that's a good thing because that relationship exists in the real world where you're like, how are you two together?
I mean, Demaine showing up like that was definitely kind of like, it's clear that she probably cut him off. So he was trying to find a means to force conversation. Shows up, Jamal's obviously at the door. But it's interesting is that Jamal says, say your final goodbyes. He not going to be around much longer. That is a threat. That is a threat. You took it as a threat, right?
I know it opened the door to say that, the Diamond should have picked up then. He's the person that snitched on him. No, I'm picking up that you want to kill me then. Because that's what you said.
Yeah.
That was a very serious threat. And I didn't think of, you're going to make me violate my parole. And it's almost a look Diamond gave on his face also. Like, is that where we're taking this to? Yeah. It had nothing to do with like, maybe you don't want to tell my PO. It was way more of, you can't just threaten me like this and it'd be fine. especially when Jamal fighting for that woman that don't want him. He came back because he had 2 Miller Lights left in the refrigerator. With 2 of them left. Because you know she drunk one when Leon passed away because she had to get her mind right. So she drunk one, took a shot of Hennessy. And then it was 2 left for him in there. So he mad as shit.
If he drinking Miller Light, if he drinking Miller Light, she ain't drinking Hennessy. She on probably some wild turkey or something. That whole house down bad.
Remember, she got money though. And I'm only saying that because of the way she was dressed clearly at Leon's game. She got money. Hey, she just been hiding it like Shawnee O'Neal from Jamal. He don't know all the money that she got. That's what that is, Joe.
Oh my
but again, like it just doesn't make sense. But we knew it was gonna happen because we had to see when would Diamond find out what Jamal did.
Yeah.
Because we need to understand first, is this gonna have a negative impact eventually on Diamond?
Yeah.
That was the scary part, is did him going to his PO, did it change anything for Diamond, and how would that affect Diamond moving forward?
Yeah. Well, Diamond apologized for whatever it's worth, and Gianna said, okay, and I'm back with Jamal. So weird change of events. Oh, Leon Def made his family back complete.
Turned his daddy into Snoop Dogg from Baby Boy. He pop up, you don't even live here no more. It's my girl.
You are right. You are right. All right, so Mireya and Tommy, Mireya comes out the gate asking, who is Lakeisha Grant? Because yes, she confronts Tommy about Lakeisha, but also warns him about Stacy and Miguel closing in on him. Yeah. So first of all, Tommy, and this is one of the scenes I really wanted to talk about tonight, is Tommy asking, who told you her name? Because as I mentioned, you knowing that instantly is going to throw me into a But I love how Mireya kept it 100. No lies told in this scene. She just let her know what it is. It says, well, first off, the response to who Lakeisha was, I also thought was interesting. As he takes deep breaths, he's obviously still emotional about this.
Man.
You thought these were lies here?
No, I said cries.
Cries. Yeah. I think he said lies.
No, not lies. So, no.
So he mentioned it was like, I was going to marry her, but she wasn't made for this life. She's dead. I tell you what I really like about this. Obviously, there's detail missing because you'd never want to leave Mireya suspicious as to why she's dead. If you think about what he's saying, I wanted to marry her, but she wasn't made for this life. She dead. Was she a victim because of this? Did you do it because of this? There's a lot that could potentially be here, but he didn't give her everything. But I will say, hold on real quickly, that I like this is that Tommy hasn't traditionally been good speaking about something that affects him so deeply. So the fact that he kind of just gives little cliff notes about it, I think is really on par to showing you the level of how much he cared about particular people. The conversation about Lakeisha is sensitive to him. He has not processed it. This is his whole reason of leaving New York to get to Chicago or get to California by stopping through Chicago. Was him running from the reality that the person he was going to marry, the person that he still loves, is dead by means of the life that he's involved with. So, but yeah, comment on that. So now you got to comment, or do I give you the rest of the details here?
Hey, no, Nick, I was waiting for this one right here, Joe. No, first, his reaction to me as he's telling her about Lakeisha and why that window was left open is because I don't think he's prepared to say who took her out. So he's not going to say that part. He's going to say she wasn't made for this life, because if he goes into detail, he got to admit it was my sister or the person who I treat like my sister who killed her. I said she wasn't made for this life. And I don't think he did in any way to try to leave Mireya in the dark. I don't think that was ever his intention there. He just wanted to be upfront and honest with her to let her know, like, yes, this is someone who I absolutely love. And his thing is, I think here is, if I'm honest with her, she'll be honest with me. And he's in love with her. So at this point, he's not gonna lie for no reason. He's not in a wrong here. We were just waiting to see how this reaction would be to it, but he's not in the wrong here. So he's like, no, if this is what you found out, this is why you found this out. I think it was more of a hole left in it when Stacy says that to her and doesn't tell her what happened to Lakeisha Gray. If you know the name, you know how she died.
Yeah.
That should have been what you said to her. Because the moment you tell her that, then she has a different group of questions to ask Tommy here. Instead, all she could do is ask, who is Lakeisha Gray?
Yeah.
Tommy had no issue giving her that answer.
Yeah. So Mireya filling in all the gaps here, again, letting her know that the U.S. attorney showed up to my house and warned me about you. Then she, again, as I mentioned, warned him about the plans for Miguel. And Tommy's already aware of sort of Miguel's approach because he's already 3 steps ahead, as Grandma had already said. So, like, him hearing this is like, okay, cool. Figure he already knew what I was up to. Figure at some point he would try to plan an action towards me.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is he completely shifted back to Lakeisha again. So he said, hold on, fuck that. So how did you hear? How did you find out about Lakeisha? And he said, are you testing me? And I love Mireya. I really love Mireya. I really do. I feel like she's like a genuine person. Like the person you want to meet in life. You know, she says like,
yeah.
He says, are you testing me? He says, I don't know, maybe. I have to choose between you or Miguel. And if Miguel wants you dead, then fuck him. He's never seen me for who I am, but you do, Tommy. Tommy phone
that fast.
Yeah. It's just the phone ring thing is like the most coincidental thing. This is Tariq at his finest right here. Every time he gets close to somebody, the phone rings. Here is the first thing that I think a lot of people did not pick up on. You got to let the cinematography do what it do. You see Tommy look over at the phone and he avoids it, right? And he proceeds to kiss Mireya and he shuffles his hand on her back. And there's a lot of emphasis on the path of filling on her. Tommy's paranoia has superseded his googly eyes for Mireya. He is by all means patting her down. He is looking for a wire.
Yes.
He is completely suspicious of her because if you got some information, and I said this was going to happen, you had the U.S. attorney come to your
door
house to give you information about me. When your brother's just as much in this as well, too, by the way. But she came to ask about me.
Yep.
And now you in here questioning me about things. But he did give her security codes here. But that was a test, I believe. I definitely believe it was a test.
What happened.
Yes. Definitely think it was a test. But he looked at the phone. And it's also something I think, and I can't remember exactly. No, this actually is right on par. He looks at the phone because as much as he is paranoid, suspicious, he's also a little bit in denial because he knows if he answers that phone and Jenny Sue says it is Mireya's phone, he's going to be stuck in the Holly situation again, where we find out Holly was overstepping.
Yep.
And she got put in the L, got choked out, you know?
It's good to bring up that this is Tommy's pattern. I know people talk about power and fathers and sons. No, Tommy in broken relationships. That's what you need to pay attention to.
Yeah. So, I
mean, is this what we wanted to see? I know a lot of people were questioning from the beginning, like, why is Tommy so in love with her? Where's this trust coming from? But her being honest, I think they kind of show it backfire on her a little bit. Thank you for that information, but why are you still talking to them?
Yeah.
And that into itself builds a problem.
I also wanted to just quickly throw out there and say, and I don't know where I was going to say this at because I didn't write it down in my notes, but I know it's in the back of my head.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy keeping Mireya at the house is definitely like keeping a hamster or a gerbil in a cage. It's just kind of interesting to see where this is going to go. Because not only is he really testing her, giving her security codes, which you use it, the phone is the phone. He already got the phone records for her, but ultimately, he has her as collateral. Because if anything is to pop off, I got you right now. I can use you against Miguel. I can use you for whatever it may be.
That's true.
But I'm keeping you here for a reason. It's not about protection anymore. It's definitely about like it's a hostage situation until he can clear her name. So Tommy's paranoia is through the roof, and Mireya, who's been 100, is definitely on thin ice at this point because Holly 2.0 was definitely being loaded up.
And no, just pay attention to the most is that listening device that Vic put in there. And how that's not, I don't think it's going to backfire on Tommy. I swear it's going to backfire on Mireya. She's going to say something about her brother on that wire when Tommy's not around. And that's going to be the problem.
All right. So Miguel and Grandma Abuelita. There we go. Yeah. Abuelita. So Grandma's giving out the shot because Mireya's late. You know what's funny? They realized she was late, no suspicion. They were just like, she's usually here.
Is there no suspicion? Or is this something they just not letting it go right now, what it is?
I think Grandma's just kind of like, I think Grandma's getting kind of antsy knowing that she's about to get back on the throne or something. Because she's definitely like, it's just me for you tonight. I'm giving out the shot. It's weird energy happening right now. But Mireya was late and he wanted to shot before Diamond got there, but Grandma took care of it. But Diamond is there. And he planted the seed about Tommy and want to know how committed he is to him because he wants to combine CBI and the Insane Princess. And he asks, do you really need him? Merger, but without Tommy. Well, Grandma's ready to leave, but Nunez is not there. He's supposed to drive her, and this ridiculous person outside. First of all, sir, that's Grandma. Y'all should have a security detail anywhere she goes
at all times,
and you should be like, "I will drive you." It's not even a question. Somebody else should. Somebody else should have died in this scene. That's my point. One of these other Minutemen soldiers should have died. You're not letting somebody her profile after the Serbs clearly just came after you all, and you just gonna let her go by herself. Anybody could get it, and fuck around and find it. She got it.
Not only anybody can get it. When did we start as senior members of the cartel, right? Start starting our own car.
Never.
Never's gonna happen. They're gonna have some poor sap go out there and start the car for them because they never know if something is wrong with it.
Yeah.
Case in point, like it was just left there and no one thought, oh no, don't worry about it. I'm gonna warm this up for you or do whatever I need to do first before you get in here to make sure it's safe. None of that is done here. You gotta ask yourself, is it because they don't care about her?
Hell no. No.
Miguel cares about her. What does that have to do with the rest of the people there?
She got that big introduction when they introduced her, episode 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Let her out the car. I mean, she was a big deal. They basically laid out the carpet for her. I am definitely confused about how the dynamics just switched in a way that she didn't get a whole security. I just said the word security. Team or whatever you call it.
Detail in a way.
Detail. Thank you. Security detail. That's the word. It's just, and y'all just. I'm just going to drive myself. Like, there should have been a little bit more resistance to this. I would have even liked to see her get killed outside of the car bomb instead of her being the one that actually died in it by herself. It should have been two people in that car, or she should have been like, no, I'll drive myself. I can do it. At least dismiss somebody completely. Not like the whole Nunez not here, so I'm going to drive myself. Like, somebody else should be saying, I'm going, and like, I know this is probably like not important to everything that's happening in it, but you really built the character up like a big deal. Again, return as the queen you are.
Hey, but
I watch enough Narcos to know ain't no queens getting behind the driver's seat.
We know that element, but from the grandma's perspective here, with everything that happens, with them not protecting her the way they should have protected her, from the way we see Che's response after the fact at Miguel and his anger towards Miguel.
Damn, yeah.
Could this all be because, I don't want to say that his team just didn't care about her, and as a way of saying that Nunez may not be the only rat in that bunch,
or maybe they're loyal.
See what's happened. Like, we see the way we see Miguel's response to stuff. If your number 2 leaks, he's not the only one.
Yeah.
No one number 2 is moving by themselves. He's number 2 because he has respect normally of everyone else. What happened if it's someone else involved? And they was like, let her start it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an unfortunate scene as a fan because I wanted to see Abuelita hang around a little bit longer, but like, this is just across the board just irresponsible for the Garcia family. This shouldn't have happened the way it did. And he runs out upset. Everybody runs out like, oh my god, what happened? But it's just tacky. Claudia, Shanti, and Elise. So Shanti, of course, pissed about the Marquez cartel because while Claudia tells Shanti about her new deal with the Marquez cartel, and that Elise is going to front the money, I guess Shanti at one point wanted to be a part of the meeting, but she also was kind of like, you know what? I'm happy that you got it done. So listen, I'm not mad at you, Claudia, for making the moves. And Claudia, all of a sudden, posture changes. I'm doing this with or without you. And she gives it an ultimatum, like, listen, you can have me for just the pills, or we can put this all together, or we can move powder and with the new cartel and you leave CBI. But as you mentioned, the one caveat is you need money for the first 2 drops, and Elise has the money because her mother got friends. So
and that's the biggest key here, because one, it's the mama's clubs. Now she has the money to fund Claudia. I'm just waiting for somebody to put 2 and 2 together and be like, who's the problem here? Who needs to go? And I think it's going to be set up. I think it's going to be set up though by Shanti, because again, she's too in the know about your game. So that's why I think part of the reason she didn't overly respond about Claudia having this meeting, especially when Claudia says, I wasn't invited, I just showed up. Like, it's a big enough move to gain Shanti's respect, but that doesn't mean her plotting is going to stop. I think she's the realest character in that sense, that if something good happens, it still does not have any effect on however she's going to move after the fact.
If a lot more people thought the way Shanti did, we'll probably be overall in better society. Just so many folks was so pissed because they couldn't insert their presence into situations that they're actually not needed.
Yes.
But still reap the benefits of what happens. Like,
personal jab at somebody there. It's gonna leave that alone, though.
I don't know who that could be against. I don't have no gripes. You know me, man. Like, if I ain't somewhere, I don't care. If I ain't got it, it ain't my problem, man.
Hey, not at all. Not even a little bit, Joe.
But you know, you're right. That might be in hindsight.
Subconscious personal chat.
Yeah, you're right. The petty just oozed out a little bit there.
Hey, it happens from time to time.
Yeah. Anywho, JP cleaning up the house. as he finds multiple bottles of first of all, I would never drink Jameson, so shout out to Kate's liver. Don't know how she do it, but yeah, I guess. But anyway, he gets a call.
Didn't I say that before in another show? And you said people who drink Jameson, man, you can't say that.
I don't drink. No, you said something about like drinking Jameson. I said I would never drink Jameson.
Yes, I said under no circumstances will you ever give me Jameson.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, just same page on that. But JP gets a call from the Youth Academy about D-Mac assaulting another kid and now missing. So first of all, Kate is passed out on the couch. We also get JP's full name, John Patrick Gibbs, there. As he gets the call from Michelle Jones from Great Shores Youth Academy, and D-Mac assaulted another student and broke out. So it's a jailbreak. I was actually intrigued to see if we were going to get that scene. I wanted to see
prison break scene.
Yeah, I wanted to hear him. I wanted the Kendrick Lamar song in the back, like, all my life I had to fight, and he just running out, beating down horses, cows.
Oh shit! Look, I didn't know how.
Be all right.
Exactly. You had to wonder how they was going to do this complete escape from this environment. Because last time I checked, right? D-Mac didn't know where he was at. They blindfold? They put a hood over his head and drove him somewhere. Nigga, how you know where you at to escape? Yours freedom's not in that direction. Like, come on. But it was a good thing to show the setup. It's a good thing to see, always to see more JP. And again, this goes from the prior episode of helping to establish this character a little more.
Yeah. Who's the kid he assaulted? I'm surprised y'all not. Matter of fact, y'all probably are in the comments
Marcus Vaughn is going to tell us next week who the kid is. You already know. I already know.
First, middle, and last name and social security. Because my man be getting some intel. He probably be like, he definitely deep in the Reddit groups, but he definitely probably be like inside like the metadata each episode, going in there
rummaging through it like okay, let me see.
Yeah. We're gonna have to we gotta watch out for that guy. So D-Mac is, and you know what's funny? Now we don't get to hear the whole who's also at the Youth Academy. We're not going back to the Youth Academy at all. It's over. It's over. It's gone. Done.
Lisa Marie was there.
Yeah.
But now you gotta find out if she's a student there.
Yeah.
When he was there, and then now she's gonna try to get her revenge that way.
What the hell type of security is at this place too?
Are we on Power asking at a school what type of security exists?
True that. Yeah.
They ain't had security at the school, at any school, since Choke. Like, there's not been anybody having security at all. So for him to even been able to escape and then go missing, and then them not explaining to us, how does he even know he's that close to home? Like, these are questions you got to ask first to make it make a little bit more sense here. It's still it's a great setup scene, though.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so we at the gym now. Shanti and Jenard are sparring. Shanti asking is Diamond solid, after the whole death with Leon and whatnot. But Jenard's like, hey, he wants to find out who killed Leon. So, he got his guys on it. And Shanti's like, yeah, smart move. He's kind of giving me the Steve Harvey good answer, sort of like Merrick of like, is it really a good answer? Smart move, because this is how you can get close to him. This actually, I do want to spend just a little time on this one, so I'm gonna throw it to you as soon as I go over all the events of the episode here, of this part of the episode. But Jenard tries to convince Shanti that she should keep Diamond when they take over. They should keep Diamond when they take over CBI, while Shanti shares that Claudia is making all the moves to sell powder with another cartel. So, she does her typical bullying aspect, talk about don't go soft on me, and Jenard is babe this, babe that, and also, bolstering up the value of Diamond being around, and then the Claudia and the Serbs doing business with the Markel cartel. Wants me to leave CBI and join them. So, but then, Jenard says bro been solid. He's saying what it is. What is your thoughts about these two lovebirds in their very unhealthy relationship?
We're now seeing a transition of Jenard trusting his brother again. And Shanti is not going to be able to deal with it. Because it's not a situation of pushing Diamond out. It said, that's my brother. I'm not doing that to him. Because in the end, Diamond was always in his corner. And I think that is now scaring him because he's with a woman who's very adamant about what we're going to do next. Because partially these are the plans that she laid down that she wanted done. And now he is stuck in between them two. Which way do you think he would go? It's clear he's going to end up going his brother, but it's going to hurt that relationship between him and Shanti, and that's going to be the problem there. Because at that point, with her possibly moving on with Claudia, it just creates a bigger issue with him that she doesn't need.
Yeah. Shanti is feeling unneeded right now because Diamond is back with his brother, and they're successful, and he's off the shit, and he just want to focus on their relationship. But like, is there enough evidence to say that Shanti may be a little power hungry? She wants to feel needed, she wants to be involved, and Jenard, I mean, let's just call this what it is too. There's a lot of bum ass niggas out there that got some really solid women. And I don't know why that's such a popular thing until I had to really dig, do some research, get some interviews going, and find out that like women love to feel needed in a way that is not a 50-50 relationship, more of a like, you need me and I'm all you got. And bum ass niggas keep to continue to do what they do.
Hey yo, where you do this research at, Joe?
Black Twitter, Reddit. Nah, all seriousness, no. But no, you do see relationships like forget all the slander and forget all the stereotypical comments. You do see these relationships where you do see dudes. You be like, how? What? Like, how is this person driving your woman's S550, S650 as their car, and they're just okay with it? They're just like, oh yeah, that's my guy. I think Jenard is in the situation where when Jenard needed her most is where she felt probably the most valued by him.
Yes.
And now that he's back on his feet and things are getting back, she's kind of not digging this dynamic change. Like, oh, you standing up for yourself? Oh, you believe in your brother now? Did he ever have a reason not to trust him? Jenard has been the problem the entire time.
What? Just because, from last season, he's been trying to kill Diamond because he feels Diamond pushed him out for Tommy.
Yes, but also he didn't take any accountability of his own recklessness, his own just stupidity, treason. This treason's just the sentence, beginning and end. Treason. Just let's not forget about that whole era. So like, I think that Jenard has really started to kind of look life in the face. I think he's like getting it back all together. Him and his relationship with Shanti should be solid, but Shanti's not digging the fact that he doesn't need her in the way that she used to, and she misses that because of the idea of wanting to be desired in that fashion. Control. Which is the glimpse that we see with her and Claudia, where she wants to be in control, but then she's like, all right, hold on, I'll spin the block with it. As she mentioned, you know what's funny? No one actually says this unless you're like in a work meeting. Did you hear what she said to Jenard? Let's put a pin in it.
Yeah.
No one talks like that unless it's business.
And you don't respect the person you're talking to.
Clearly not.
Because other than that, I'm not putting a pin in anything. No, we're gonna talk about this right here, right now. But it's again the transition of their relationship, and now we're just seeing it, and now you got to wonder, okay, when this goes full this way with these other opportunities that's coming Shanti's way, I know people out there was like, man, I can't stand this character. What are they gonna do with this character? You're literally seeing it in front of your eyes, the way they can build her to be a huge force moving forward.
Yeah.
Because clearly everybody has, seems like nobody but Walter had issues working with Negroes. Everyone else is perfectly fine with working with Negroes.
I don't even understand how Shanti, I mean, I don't know. She's power hungry. That's just the bottom line. She's power hungry. The relationship is transforming in a way that should be more healthy in terms of just two people working in the same organization get money, but that's not going to work for Shanti because she doesn't want anybody to question her, and she wants everybody to value her in the way she wants. That's incorrectly saying. She wants her relationships to be what they are and to stay as they is. She ain't gonna even like Claudia making power moves much longer if she doesn't have any control over it. Like this first one's kind of like, all right, let me sit back and see how I can utilize. Matter of fact, even when she was talking to Tommy later on in the episode, she was definitely kind of like ready to snap, but realized like she may be out of her league. So I think whatever bit of control that she can keep, she's trying to harvest that as long as she can. That's what I'm saying. Everything around her is shifting.
Build it like equity. The more and more you build up those moves, the more and more people you could possibly build up with you. So when you have to make whatever move you have to have, which we know that move is coming soon for her, you have enough people that can make sure you get out of that situation alive first.
Yeah. All right, let's get down to the rest of the episode here. Nunez and Mirković having a meeting as Mirković paid Nunez for the job, and then Nunez says that the money is light. So I'm just going to say that this money here is by way of Claudia into his pockets, which is just hilarious because they got cut off anyway because of Miguel. This is some weird transaction of money right here. When you think about that, the Serbs don't have the money because the Garcia cartel cut them off, which Nunez is a part of. And so Claudia's paying Mirković for protection, which that money is being sent to Nunez in order to kill Miguel, which by killing Miguel should either take the Garcia family out of the situation or reopens that pipeline. Because obviously, so with Shay and whatnot. So interesting there. But Nunez was responsible for killing Abuelita hired by Mirković, but also by attempting to kill Miguel. So that's why the money's light. It says, listen, you finish the job, you get the rest of the money.
Yeah, still makes no sense. You dropped the car off. Didn't Miguel say he contacted him about the grandmother wanting to use his car for the day? So you didn't see this coming. Come on, man. You had to see it coming, and it was all set up for you to see it coming. But again, that goes back to my theory, is that they didn't care and they understood. You take out the strongest help that person has. What does that leave you with?
Yeah.
Like Miguel has, it's weird. We went from our first time introduced to his level of violence with the freezing people's hands and breaking it. And you're like, man, this is going to be a serious threat. And then they have made every opportunity for him to look like an idiot here. And it's because of his own team. It's all a setup. This is what Tommy wanted. And Tommy's getting exactly the way. For people who always question just how good the plans are that Tommy can put together, this one has worked beautifully here. Because now, in the eyes of everyone, Miguel, one, he seems weak in front of his men. His white boy's constantly showing up. You're looking weaker in front of Shay. Like, everything you've done has hurt you since you partnered with Tommy.
Yeah. What is Nunez's motivation here?
Well, I'm guessing they're going by what the grandmother said, which is that you're number two. When you don't get paid attention to, you decide to turn. So maybe Mirković offered him a spot in his organization, or offered him
Doubt
a
it.
couple of. Yeah, okay. I'm literally just reaching for a straw here for that. But it makes absolutely no sense that besides money, or besides him wanting to take over for Miguel, it would make no sense to do it. But that did not seem like that was the angle they were going out with here.
Yeah. Abuelita threw out the idea of jealousy potentially being an aspect of it. I don't feel jealousy here.
But we've seen him just once this season have to go off on him. Just once. When Miguel had to go off on him. But again, we got to just go back to what the grandmother said. Again, we say that all the time. Things aren't necessarily always throwaway lines in power. She said that, and then we see what happens now.
Yeah. We're going to have a moment of Miguel reflecting back to that. Honestly, my man threw a hissy fit. He didn't get his way because he ain't being invited to meetings.
Yeah.
And so he says, I'm going to kill you after that. I should be a little bit more build up on Nunez's motivation here, not just the check. Because to go to the Serbs, exactly.
Yeah.
Make that make sense. I don't know. I would like to see Nunez try his hand with even going to Shea in his displeasure to how Miguel's running things. I would even like to see him have a conversation with Abuelita. Even Mireya would have been a good conversation to him saying, I just don't like how your brother's operating things and da 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 da. It's something.
He could have made the same exact move to either the other cartel, because clearly they don't get along, and him planting the seed that I can be taking this over as the number 2 soon, and I will move my operation to you.
Yeah, you're talking about
for Nunez.
Yeah, no. When you say the other cartel, you're talking about, I can't even think of the name right now, but the other cartel from it's gonna come to me in a second. But Chavo, they're the one from that. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Knowing that he already doesn't even like Miguel makes the most sense, honestly.
Now, or the other part of it, if you're gonna partner with Mirković, why would I want to be the person who have to kill Miguel? No. Why would I do that?
Yeah, that's why I thought it was interesting that Miguel. How would Mirković even have it is really the audacity for him to say, I'm gonna go to your second in command and offer a bribe?
Makes no sense.
Or
absolutely
Nunez should have went to Mirković and paid him to do the job.
The long game. Why didn't we get them playing the long game here? Do what we have to do to get rid of Miguel. Once he's gone, you take over.
Yeah.
And then we'll go from there. Like, that's the element that it almost makes it seem like Nunez is a complete idiot, and that's why he made the decisions he made. Like, other than that, it's not going to compute why he made the decisions.
Yeah. But y'all in the comments, y'all let us know what we don't know about Nunez, because there's definitely a part of the episode or a part of the season that was missing.
But he's not here no more, so it don't even matter.
True that.
What did we miss about Nunez?
Yes, something.
Somebody gonna break out, man, with that tattoo on the back of his head. It means that some super deep for no reason.
So Shanti and Tommy, she goes over to Tommy to tell Tommy everything about Jenard. I'm sorry. She goes to tell Tommy everything Jenard just told her about Claudia, Elise, and everything, and mention about the Marquez cartel, and then she joins with them. This makes her basically untouchable. So yeah, Shanti talking about the partnership with her and Claudia and her plans, and Tommy tells her to kind of play along here and whatnot. And while she's like, hey, I need to know what's up, but he says, like, listen, you got to operate in the dark, need to know basis. But yeah, you tell everybody that you out of CBI, gives her a burner, and says, as it stands, we're fake enemies on the streets. Now, I'm just going to quickly say that him giving her a burner, I think, is proper protocol, and he says, I'll be in touch when things are ready to reconnect. But even though I said his paranoia has been extremely high this entire episode, why Shanti? Why Shanti at his is why was Shanti at the top of his list? And we'll validate that later. But what from this moment made Shanti jump to number one? What is your
Do you
thoughts
think it
about
was?
this entire-
Do you think it was just this moment, or you also think it possibly be the connection with Jenard also?
I really don't know. I thought he just said before loyalty is rewarded. Sounds like he's trusting of her. He gives her a phone, proper protocol, no suspicion there.
Yeah.
She plays the game. She said, "Listen, go let everybody know that you're out of CBI. You give us as much as you can." He brings the Claudia the Cardia intel to him, which, by the way, Tommy was trying to kill Claudia for like 4 episodes, and that kind of went by the wayside. But like, in fact, Claudia intel is very valuable to him if you go back to the beginning of the season, because that's all he cared about. So she's a good asset as it is.
Oh,
but why was she number? Yeah, you're right. She absolutely gives and provides everything that they need. I mean, he even said it like, "You leaving CBI, we take a hit."
Yeah,
that's a statement right there. We take a hit if we don't have your territory, but we'll make it work. But why? And what did I not pick up on that makes her person of interest number one?
I said the same thing.
Did you see anything?
I'm sticking with it. I said it.
It's
when
okay.
you first said the issue is her relationship with Jenard.
Yeah.
That's what in Tommy's eyes, the reason she's number one, I think we've seen it before with other people where you're going through one person to get to the person you really want. So in Tommy's eyes, like, Shanti's the number one threat that I need to get rid of because of Jenard. And if Jenard is the rat, who else would know it but her? Like, that's why he does not trust her at all. Yeah. Other than that, it wouldn't make sense because they do too good business together. And she's gone out her way to tell him things that if she was attempting to hide, he would never figure it out in the first place. But he does not trust Jenard. And because I don't trust him, I don't trust you.
Yep.
And that's the problem here.
I'm rocking with your answer on that one because I was definitely like, wait, what? I mean, like,
it's the only way he would test. He would feel the need to think she's the problem.
Yeah. All right, we got Vic and the feds here. We need you to put the bug in Tommy's law. So yeah, Stacy and DeFranco giving Vic their marching orders. And he's, they're talking about, I think Tommy knows something. It's a gut feeling mentioned. And they also said, as I talked about earlier, the Wire didn't give us enough to arrest Tommy. We need a location, a time, and we need to catch him with money, product, and a cartel. And then Bobby gives him the bug. Okay. Like I said, I'm just confused about what classifies as an arrest over a warrant.
We need everything humanly possible on Tommy. Put this bug in his house. Find a way to do it magically. Because, like, why would you be alone to be able to put this up properly? Like, all Bobby's reservations literally went out the window. And you're like, wait a minute. You can't go from being super clean cop and worrying about putting Vic in dangerous situations to now you put him in the most dangerous situation and you didn't care one bit. So
it's yeah, I see both sides of that. I definitely do. He's still clean cop. I'm gonna see if he makes out this entire season, but he has one more to go to doing the unthinkable of being the only clean cop in all of power. He's done. He's done it all by the book.
He's extremely. He literally told his wife, "I'm going to snitch on you if you don't do this right." Like, he is the cleanest cop on Power's history right now, Joe. Yeah. Even though y'all gonna stop hating like Burke is dirty. Burke is not dirty. Y'all just hate that Burke is persistent. Completely different.
Yeah. Somebody in one of the comments explained why Burke wasn't dirty. Why Burke is dirty. I honestly forgot. Also, cannot wait for Raising Kanan to return. Cannot wait to see my girl Burke on screen. it's going to be interesting because Howard and Kanan are getting closer, and that is going to be problematic. And we're going to
And
see.
wouldn't that justify Burke's position even more? See what I mean? Y'all just don't put two and two together here.
But how long is Howard going to allow her to do what she does is the question. But anyway, getting back to Abuelita's funeral here, Power Book for Force, episode 209. CBI's there to pay their respect, although Jenard came in with velvet.
Hey, we're gonna talk about what you talking about Jenard's outfit?
No, Diamond.
I'm about to say, because you was talking about Jenard, I'll be like, when are we gonna talk about these red burgundy sweatpants that he came into
velvet burgundy sweatpants and a black tee to the funeral. But anyway,
funeral.
I'm not going to shame my man outfit. What I am going to talk about, what's really important here, is the shift in dynamics. So anyway, Tommy and Diamond are there to pay their respects. But when they do, you know, Tommy takes a moment to do some business with Shay. So, you know, Shay makes it very clear. Look around. We're all grieving. Business can wait. Let me introduce my business partner. He says, we're all mourning. Come on, man. Look around. You're overstepping. Tommy has implied that he wants to kill Mirković to make things right.
Yes.
But also at the same time, too, this is a back plan for him to make it appear that Miguel is incapable of handling it himself, which Miguel, one way or another, was just going to show that little Tommy was able to realize that Miguel just isn't handling anything pretty good right now. But it was interesting. We get the moment of like,
that's about it.
Right.
Angry looks that he gives Tommy every time Tommy comes on screen. He absolutely can't stand him.
Yeah. Oh, before they even go to the funeral, they asked about if Shanti can be trusted. They asked if Shanti can be trusted. So that was a topic of conversation after this meeting with her. But yeah, as I mentioned, they're tired. They paid their respect to Miguel in a reintroduction of Mireya, which, well, we already know what's up with that. But as I mentioned, Shay saying, look around, man. We're all mourning. Ain't no business going down right now. I've already gave the green light to Miguel to kill Mirković. You are overstepping. Before we talk about them getting outside, what did you think about Shay? And all of a sudden, business is
made from the entire conversation last episode. He made it sound like there's never a situation where business does not take priority over something. And then we get here and all of that goes out the window. Like, it didn't make any sense for him to now say, well, we can put business on hold for this. And I'm not saying that the death is not a bigger deal, but in the sense of the way they portrayed it, it didn't seem like it was a bigger issue for him. Yes, for Miguel and Mireya, it's a much bigger issue. But for Shay, no.
Unless there's a past between Shay
and the grandmother. Yes, that's got to be it at this point. Because other than that's not making much sense. Why this connection? Well, I can't perform any form of business with you. Granted, I love your information, and I did like when he said that with Tommy. Like, thank you for the information, but call me tomorrow or something, and someone else can take care. It just didn't make any sense. That's not who you portrayed this man to be. It's already portrayed that he's business over anything, and here very quickly showed that he's not.
But yeah, Diamond, I agree, man. Talking about, listen, you're overstepping, man. You're just totally out of line, and you know, this is them talking outside the funeral. But he says we're gonna find out who was on the inside, you know. And Tommy puts it all together. Like, how could this have happened? It had to be somebody on the inside. We're gonna find out who it is. Back at the barbershop, we see that the police and parole officers come into the barbershop looking for any info on Diamond's parole officer Reeves, who they really do like put together the story and they put together the evidence to put together the story very clean, and it makes a lot of sense. But while Diamond gives his story, he needs an alibi. Jenard comes in to give an alibi. She gives a card, says, if you hear anything, let me know. The place was clean. But then after that, Diamond admits that he killed his PO officer. Jenard found out about the little boy who is 16 years old who killed Leon, Joseph Little, aka Mad Dog. He's not affiliated, so Diamond says, bring him to me. But but also too, he says, bring me Mad Dog and Jamal, because as he mentioned, not only what happened to PR, so I need you to handle something else, and that's what he says. I need you to go handle and find out who he found out who told his PO officer that he's back in the game. I need you to go handle that, and as he was alluding to Jamal. Couple of things I want to throw to you here. Obviously, we finding out that the kid is 16 years old. He's not affiliated. Joseph Little, aka Mad Dog. So that's the first thing. Jenard with the alibi coming to the rescue. Second thing, the place being cleaned is another thing. And then lastly, wanting them to bring Jamal. What are you making about all of what happened within this scene? A lot of little things amounting to kind of big things when you think about it.
First, let's focus on the clean part, because I think that's the one most people paid attention to. If they're going to run up in this place, why wasn't anything around? And that's because of Tommy's plan to move everything. And that's why that barbershop was so clean. Plus, they just killed the PO. You think we're going to not expect them to come back in here and search for anything?
Yeah.
I think they expected it. That's why they cleaned up and straightened up everything. With Jenard, I think at first it seems like it was a calculated decision to play this move with Diamond. Nope. It was my brother. And my brother needed help. And it's that simple. I think this again shows that Diamond's going to be the cause of Shanti and him being over with. Because that's just a side piece of love. It's completely different when it's your brother. And I think because of that, that's starting to become what Jenard is craving for instead of the drugs that he's been doing all season. Now it's Diamond, and I gotta do right to get with him, and that's gonna end his relationship with Shanti. But again, that's why he covered for his brother. All of it made sense. And Jamal. One, I'm still confused how they ever found out Jamal is the person who snitched to the PO. Doesn't make any sense. Last time we saw Jamal, Diamond was beating him up as he was getting high with a stripper or a hooker or whomever that young lady was.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, there you go. One of the three. Okay. So it makes no sense that he would know it's Jamal.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's Diamond. So process of elimination would tell you who. The random guy I met one time. I think he possibly thought it was someone else, but I'm gonna blame it all on Jamal because I see what happened.
Yeah. Well, I think also, what about the kid though? What about the kid? He found out the information about the kid.
Still?
Actually.
No. Is he important still?
Because it should be noted that he says this kid is not affiliated right now.
You think you're gonna bring him in the CBI? I doubt. No.
No. We'll talk about it in just a second. We're almost there. We're getting through this episode. So Tommy and Mireya, as he mentioned, stay here for me. Because someone on the inside is working for this feds, and Mireya tells Tommy that Nunez was the one who drove the car before it exploded. Tommy tells her to stay in the place again so he could try to protect her, but gives her the security codes to her place. And there's that, and he's trying to mention he's trying to figure out how did someone get the bomb into Miguel's car. So there's that. Also think by Tommy speculating that is very much on par of him saying how could anybody do that? I couldn't do that, so it had to be somebody on the inside. So I definitely think it wasn't more of a curiosity statement of more of a almost like a tactical statement of like, yeah, like how could somebody do that? Because like I couldn't did that. I couldn't got that close, so it had to be somebody on the inside. So I do like that. It was Tommy, the one that like really drew the suspicion on that.
I mean, I think though it was naturally gonna have to be him.
Yeah.
It was gonna have to be him. But he knows this from prior seasons of Power. Tommy's done this to people before. He would know it would have to be the person close to you that's gonna be able to pull this off.
That is very true. So what do we got here now? So Demaine and Jenard, they got Jamal and
take him to the river in Euphoria.
Yeah,
we've had enough of you.
Jamal out here still blaming Demaine for getting his son killed, but they got the confession out of Jamal about telling the PR officer, and Demaine drowns him. Yeah. So yeah, he definitely very aggressively baptized him into the waters of Chicago.
Held him head down and just went spazzed, and you're like, oh, like this is an overreaction, but okay, we get it. Like,
yeah,
you're mad because you're saying that because of your actions, you kind of made Leon soft. It's your fault.
I definitely think that Demaine trying to hold that man accountable for everything that he's done to Leon definitely led Leon to the road to his.
That had nothing to do with Leon. It had nothing to do with Jamal. That was Demaine and his daddy. You killed that man because of your feelings for your daddy. That's what it was more than anything else there. Because that's always been the background of the relationship with him and Leon, is that he saw so much of Leon in him.
Yeah.
And he didn't want Leon to go through the things he went through, and he still did. Or if not worse at this point.
Yeah, I tried to make it funny, but you're right. All right, so Vic and Tommy at the house. Vic plants the bug as Tommy goes to the bathroom. Tommy grabs the knife and says, "Let's ride." We get D-Mac and Marshall. So honestly, I don't really want to talk about the scene too much here, but whatever. But JP comes in, sees his son, want to know what happened. JP, as you know, finds him at D-Mac's house, but D-Mac is upset that JP never fought for him. D-Mac talked about the bruises and then wanting to cut his hair, so he was in an abusive situation.
Sound like he was in the military.
Oh, 1,000%. Military. Yeah, 1,000%. I think at one time, did I jokingly call it Boys Village at one point?
Yes, you did call it Boys Village.
It's Forestville High. That's exactly what it is. Forestville Academy, I believe it's what it's called, because it's no longer Forestville High School.
It's the Academy now?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wait, Forestville is odd. It has one of the worst high schools ever, and yet some of the best expensive private high schools ever. Same vicinity of one another.
Yeah.
Like they just dangling the carrot in front of the poor people. Like, look what you got. If you had a little bit of money, your kids would be so much better in life.
Nah, facts. But anyway, he's just mad because he's saying D-Mac, out of frustration and anger, was just saying you need to fight for your son. Like, I guess he's trying to make amends, but at the end of the day, he says listen, you need to fight for your son. And why he says just stay here, don't go nowhere. I'll deal with Tommy. So that didn't happen this episode. So we'll see how.
It's to build the conflict that we were talking about last episode with JP and Tommy.
Yeah.
Because why would you need to go see Tommy?
Not at all.
He back now.
Yeah.
You can't send him away again. You saw what happened the first time. We glossed over them, according to D-Mac, assaulting him. Granted, we know that wasn't the case, but that's what he's claiming. But then why do you need to go to Tommy for permission?
Yeah.
D-Mac was right. You left me twice. Like, that's nuts. Like, you've abandoned me twice, and you're not there for me. What do I need you for there?
Yeah, no, it's very traumatizing. I thought Lucian definitely brought that young teenage anger into that situation, and obviously sadness by like you left me twice, like, and it's interesting. We'll talk about it in a second with the Kate and JP conversation, but Tommy and Vic go riding. And is again, meeting Tommy at the loft. He because he needed to see what was going on. But he puts the bug in there, in the kitchen while Tommy's in the bathroom. But at the same time, we get a lot of conversation in the car about how much he hates rats, how much he hates snitches, and so on. But that's where they find Nunez at Mirković's spot, and they run up on him. But Kate and JP, man, and like, JP is showing some empathy, talking about some, I'm okay about the bottle stuff, but I wanted to tell you that I accept your amends, because now JP can relate to all the things that Kate did wrong.
Did for him.
And Kate says
with him and D-Mac.
Exactly. Which is, I really want to talk about it real quickly, but like, first case is like, you're a really good man. Then he proceeds to say that D-Mac is back. He's safe, but you can't go see him. Promise that you won't try to go see him, because he expressed his guilt to Kate about leaving D-Mac twice. And then JP says, "I'll go handle Tommy." As I think Kate was trying to volunteer her help, but
because she's accustomed to dealing with Tommy.
Oh yeah.
Like JP doesn't know this side of Tommy, the anger side, when it fully kicks in. Yeah, Kate does though, and that's why Kate is like, that she wanted to step up and help out here. Again, it's weird though for him to make amends with her over this, when again, it's always going to go back to, if you just told her the truth from the beginning, we wouldn't be here.
That words right out of my mouth there. That's literally what I was about to say. So there's that. So we get Tommy and Vic beating Nunez down until he reveals Miguel's plan to take out Mirković. And at the last moment when he finds out the time of the plans, which is like within a couple of minutes, Tommy makes Nunez calls to warn him. Because, and you wondering why, you have to go back that like, well, Tommy wants to mess up Miguel's plans. He wants him to fail so that he can look good in the things he do in front of Shay to really get Miguel out. Out the game, or get him out of his position and whatnot. But yeah, when this is all happening, we get the huge gun and fight scene at the restaurant. And Mirković and his folks, they take the escape route out behind like a steel door,
panic room,
a panic room.
Something
exactly.
Formal.
Yep. So before we come back to that, we got Elise and Claudia, as Elise brings all the money, and Elise gives her all of the affirmation, letting her know this is her moment. This is for you to pay for your first 2 shipments. Confesses that she's been in love with Claudia since the 7th grade. And they share a little moment together, but like, she gives her affirmations, and again lets her know that this is her moment. Says Shanti left CBI because she believes in you, and now we need Roberto to know that he can trust you more than the Serb. So Elise coming in, man, dropping off that Birkin bag for her. What did you think any of this?
Hey, we already knew that this was a long time crush between these two. It was just going to be how this is going to play out. What I'm waiting to see is, we know how heartless Claudia can be. Claudia has finally gotten what she wanted from her. We can see Claudia be like, "Yep, I'm done now. There's no need for me to deal with you anymore." Like, we already understand the way she operates here. And that's why I'm just more interested to see how is that going to work out with them two.
1000% here. 1000%. Get your popcorn ready, folks, because Claudia will turn back into true Claudia form very soon. And it's, Elise could be the one person that could send her down the other path, but like, at the same notion, we've never seen Claudia in this position in the way she has in a very, very long time. I mean, she's getting respect across the board here, and she can get the respect from Roberto. I mean, that's just another level she's never been on. Not to mention, as everybody keeps like throwing around, that makes her untouchable. They have got to explain what that means across the board here, because they keep saying if this deal goes through, they're untouchable, and we're seeing it from both ends.
It means it got to mean that cartel is so huge.
Yeah,
that's going to be it at that point.
Yeah.
We don't have the hitters to take her out.
Yeah.
If she fully partners with them, we don't have the ability to stop her. Yeah. At that point, you are untouchable.
You know what it is?
Again, Che even said it. We can't afford a cartel war. That told you the state of his people.
Yeah.
For him to even say that. So the last thing you want to do is open yourself up to that.
You know what it is, though?
What?
Roberta from Detroit. And the moment they show up talking about what up, though, all I know is Lil Meech better not show up on the next season. He better not show up on the next season of Force under some alias.
I got you right here. You have a better chance of Blue Da Vinci showing up here. To sell Diamond in them cars. Because that's what Blue did after everything happened. Better than that happening than me showing up here. Again, it just, we've talked about it. Yeah. It gives you another player from another part of the world. Well, not the world, country.
Yeah.
And power book whatever in Detroit.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we talked about it. Wait, is this the first time we got somebody from Detroit?
Yes.
That's so interesting that I did say last week that they should do a spinoff in Detroit because they already film in Detroit. So it just makes production a lot. Yeah, that's really, really interesting there. So Che and Miguel, as he scolds Miguel, saying, "You fucked up. You know, as you mentioned, we can't afford a cartel war. The Marquez in Chicago and the Serbs together makes them untouchable. And don't forget that cutting off the Serbs was your idea." And Tommy brings in Nunez. So while Che basically berates Miguel for not taking out Mirković, Tommy shows up with a bloody Nunez and proving that he knew better than Miguel. As Che wants to know, how did this white boy know that there's a rat in your organization before you did? And as Tommy mentioned, like, I keep tabs on Mirković. And he says that, you know, this guy was having a meeting with your enemy. So, but anyway, Tommy tries to make some suggestion, but Che silenced him, and then Miguel takes the kill. Which is interesting that Che is still very much operating like a boss. Like, he's just not, he moves at the beat he wants to move. I don't know what Tommy was trying to say to him, but he was like, no, Che does.
It almost felt like he was trying to interrupt him to tell him he'll do it. And because technically that's not Mirković. He wasn't Miguel's kill.
Yeah.
But then Che shut him down really quickly.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the other thing I thought from this scene as well too is how come Nunez didn't try to plead innocence at all? Just at all?
How come Nunez didn't bring up that he had me tied up, but he at least me to make a call.
Yeah.
None of that was said. But it also goes to the point that at that moment, he knows he's going to die.
Yeah. Yeah. True that.
He knows Miguel better than anyone. He knew he was going to die in that moment.
Yeah. All right. Couple of more scenes here. So we get Tommy back at home with Mireya and says the situation is handled. And while they're talking, Mireya's talking about a contingency plan to move to Barcelona if things go south, while Stacy and DeFranco are listening on the bug. But while they're listening on the bug, this scene is just so annoying to me because they're talking about, you know, back in the day. They're talking about some nostalgia. It's like, oh, remember our first case together, the Green Dragons wiretap was so good, and then Bobby out here basically wanted to turn on Keith Sweat. And was like, yeah, ethical is sexy, or ethical is hot, isn't it? And so, yeah, you were right about Vic. And now we have a sex scene between the two of them. This is
Some
his trash
scissors
to
music.
me.
It's scissors music. Out of
Yeah,
all
you're right.
songs.
It piped that joint in hot too. That thing was loud. I was
Yeah.
just like, all right.
They said the amount of money we paid for this song,
Yeah.
we're gonna put it in a pivotal sex scene, and then chose that one.
I feel bad for Bobby, man, because I still don't think she actually. There's no
Loves him.
sexy to her. I don't think she's attracted to. I mean, not attracted. She's just not like. Right now, she's just not connected with him on that way. She's just worried about this case. She gets a win. It's funny. She gets a win in terms of what's happening. She's like, oh, the bug is working. I know we're going to get something. She's like, oh, now I'm feeling you.
Yep.
It's just poor Bobby. But like, it's so weird that he had to say like, oh, ethical's hot, isn't it?
It's what she wants. As long as she gets what she wants.
Yeah.
She's excited.
Is this no different than Shanti and Jenard?
What is the difference?
You're right about that. As
What
long
is
as you
different?
in
Jenard's a
line
crackhead.
as long as you're in line for what I need you to do.
Dude, yes, that's the most important element of it all.
Yeah.
You're doing exactly what I need you to do. And as
Yeah.
long as you're doing that, you're the sexiest person in the world. The moment you
Yeah.
start turning against what I want done, I don't know
Yeah.
how much longer you're gonna last.
I don't even believe her apology about saying you were right with Vic and I'm sorry I put you in that position. Like, I don't believe that at all. I think she's
she
just
care less about that.
Yeah. So Tommy, Jenny Sue says I had the phone records as he is laying next to Mireya sleep.
Mhm.
And I think while he didn't kind of jump up for joy, he had reservations because I think he really was worried that it could be Mireya. Or if not, he just didn't want to open up that maternity test to find out that he wasn't the father, because my man definitely did not respond in a way that made it seem like he was excited about that news at all. Did you sense that, or what were you kind of thinking?
Yes. It's the overall dread and worry that was all over him in that whole moment, and you're like, shit, I'm going to find out something I don't want to find out.
Yeah.
And you gotta wonder, do you think that he's not reacting that way for Shanti or Jenard?
Yeah.
So you can eliminate over those two. He acted that way because I think in a way he sensed who it was and didn't want to admit it to himself.
Nothing about the episode led me to think that he ever suspected Vic at all. I think the killing the cop made him sort of in a range of like, can't be you at all.
I think he started piecing together that meant nothing. Because in that moment, what else are you gonna do? And I think that was the key part. It was more of, I'm hoping it's someone else. But if he knew for a fact it was Jenard or Shanti, he'd have answered that phone.
Agree. And I naturally, the more you say that, the more and more I think that he really needed it to be Shanti. That's the least problematic of the big names. I mean, obviously Marshall or anybody else could have been it, but like, he needed it to be Shanti. That's the easy way out. Jenard is problematic for his business relationship.
Yes.
Mireya, obviously. Jenard, Demaine, never even a guess, but like, names that would have been super problematic for him, So
well, it wasn't Demaine in him anymore. The weird part is the same reason it wasn't Demaine in him anymore. Could have locked in the same reason it was not Vic to him, but it didn't.
Yeah.
Like he didn't believe it was Demaine after Demaine slit his PO's throat. That's why he was so happy when he did it.
Right. And that's why I keep saying that, like, nothing about the events of this episode ever led us for me to think that Tommy ever suspected Vic until the moment that he did. So I think it was like, and we'll obviously we're almost there. So we'll definitely
he gave Vic a couple of side eyes and a couple of different elements of him thinking himself like, what does this mean with him?
Yeah. I definitely think he tried to like put together the math and it just wasn't mathing. So he just was like, all right, not Vic. So so the barbershop, we find out that Demaine is a free man. He got an early parole release. So Jenard says it's all about CBI now. From after his board meeting that he had at the shop. So Jenard fills in about Mirković and Miguel and worried that Tommy is calling too many solo moves. I don't know what this suspicion is all about and what does it mean. Besides him being the brother saying, I just don't want you to get taken advantage of, and I always got your back. While Tommy is looking forward, I'll always have your back. As he does mention that I'm glad to have you back in the fold. But here's where things get interesting. He says, so what's up with Mad Dog? And Jenard tells Diamond Mad Dog is untouchable because he is King Kilo's nephew. If they touch him, the correlation falls apart. Do you think that this is not true?
That Jenard is setting him up?
Yes.
What does he get from setting him up, though?
Same reason he get for trying to kill Tommy.
Well, he don't like Tommy because Tommy took his spot.
But like, is he playing towards Shanti here? Is he going back between?
I don't think so. I am a firm believer that he's gonna leave her in a heartbeat for his brother. I think he's letting him. I think he's letting what he's doing is putting it in Diamond's head. What's more important? Tommy's coalition, or you getting revenge?
I don't know, but I tell you that him one moment, as I was hinting at earlier, where he said that Mad Dog was not affiliated. Now he's saying, oh, he's untouchable because he's not affiliated, but he's King Kilo's nephew. So if you touch him, the correlation falls apart. I don't know if I just believe that. I think he's just using that as collateral for whatever reason, and I don't know.
I think it's because you're still thinking that this could be a play with him and Shanti, and I don't see that at all. Yeah. I think we've moved past that point. I think this is really him weighing Diamond against Tommy. This is the perfect way to do it. Yeah. To him, this is Tommy's coalition. This is what Tommy wanted to do.
True.
Are you going to let a Diamond? Are you going to let this slide that he killed Leon?
Yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
Yeah. Yeah. True. So Tommy and Jenny sue because Jenny is here to let Tommy know what Burner was calling the feds. Now, Tommy comes in saying, Shanti. Is it this number? And it's like, that is the number you gave Shanti, right? He says, no, it's not this one. He's like, are you sure? Check again. And Jenny Sue says, no, I'm pretty sure it is this number. And then he says, no fucking way. I need to borrow your car. And now we all knew. So it's at this moment we were all on the same page. Like, you hit finally now there, my guy. Yeah, you're finally there with it. So we see Vic and Stacy, because Vic meets up with Stacy to tell her about Nunez working with Mirković. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's reckless, and it's right on par for her because she doesn't care. You know what's so interesting in all of these shows with cops? They always talk about the endangerment of COs and CIs.
CIs, not COs.
And is it just reckless across the board that everybody just don't care? Like, did they just not value CIs at all for real? Because it seems like a normal thing.
It is never normal. And I said this in like episode 4. It's never normal to meet your CIs in the public eye, in front of everybody.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen? All Tommy had to do was post up across the street, and he saw everything. So I mean, they didn't even go to like an exclude corner or something, or hey, inside a warehouse, something that shows we're not leaving from the same place at the same time.
Yeah,
nothing of that nature. And it's because as we've seen with her throughout this entire investigation, she is so gung-ho and get Tommy. She will make every mistake in the world to do so.
Yeah, even Jenny wasn't like that with Lauren in Ghost. At least she kept her behind closed doors, even though she was, going after Tariq by any means necessary. But it's definitely interesting. But Vic meets up with Stacy, told her about Nunez was working with Mirković, and Miguel shot up the Serbs, and he wants to get into witness protection ASAP. But Stacy says only after they have Tommy in the same room as the cartel, as they keep moving the goalposts here. And while all this is And while all this is happening, Tommy's watching across the street to confirm that Vic is the snitch. So, yep. Good night, Vic. You got one more to go, buddy, because it ain't. That's it.
If
Christmas
we
is
don't know
canceled.
anything, I'm going to say we don't know anything. This Christmas is about to be canceled. That's what we know. We may not know how, but we know what's going to happen to Vic next episode.
Yep.
All Stacy's fault. This makes no sense.
Yeah.
That she's this reckless with Vic's life.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out. This is episode 209, Loose Ends, again, directed by Lisa Demaine, written by Terry Coop and James Slainmann, which brings us now to the finale next week. Power, Powder, Respect. The theme song is the name of the title. It is written by Gary Lennon and Amelia Sweden and directed by good old Dion Taylor, which the synopsis reads: Tommy must decide how much he's willing to sacrifice in pursuit of revenge in his long game to take over the Chicago drug gang. Do you have anything else to talk about with this episode?
Well,
and any quick predictions for next week?
This is why I don't do synopsises future episodes, because revenge doesn't. You being a CI doesn't lead from revenge, but I digress.
You know they gotta mislead, and it's just what it is.
With the end of this episode, I think it shattered a lot of Tommy's faith, because it hurt him that it's Vic. Even if he's expected it, like I think he did, I 100% think that Little Things was out there for him and he should have pieced his shit together. Vic was just that other arm that he could use. Like, I think we've seen a connection with him and Diamond not be as strong as it was in season 1. And everything's now building back up with Jenard and Diamond. So Vic was like that other person, that other replacement for Tommy, that now you've turned on me and I got to kill you. And we saw what happened the last time he had to do this with someone. And I think it's going to be the same thing, going to drive him to the same issue.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to say he's hurt, but I definitely feel like he's perplexed. Like, how the hell did I not pick up on this earlier? And I think he will have to reevaluate himself to truly figure out how did he let somebody like this get so close to him without him being able to pick up on him. This is not traditional Tommy. So he's going to have to figure out, reassess, how did this happen? And obviously eliminate the issue. But I also say on the other token, he's relieved that it ain't Mireya, because he, as much as he was suspicious and paranoid about everything around him, he definitely didn't want it to be her. And then
she was number one.
Yeah. He definitely had questions about the information she had and just how close she got. He start to suspect. I mean, she was testing him. Starts to suspect, are you only close to me because of what? Your brother or the feds, whatever it may be. She's extremely close. He's been super vulnerable. So he definitely was getting ready to have one of those, like, this is why I ain't never opened it up to no more women before, because the moment I do and let my guards down, this happens. He's gonna give some spill like that. But yeah, it's Vic, man. So he's going to have to see how that plays out. And will Tommy be the one to really put a nail in the coffin for the Flint organization? Because if he kills Vic and kills Claudia, which we know he wants, that's it.
That's why it's going to be a little harder to get rid of Claudia. My thing is, if he gets rid of Vic, what's Claudia's response going to be to it?
Nothing. She hasn't even mentioned her brother's name in like 4 episodes. She don't care about that dude no more. But you're right. Could it be a change in mentality or just a change in plans because of it? So I don't know. There's a lot. We were here for 2 hours for you all tonight, so we will put a pin in it.
Hold on, we're supposed to give something for episode 10. You didn't give your prediction for episode 10. I did, in a way.
Oh, sorry. Well, we know that the finale is absolutely going to be explosive. I think when you talk about the potentials for next week, it's we got our war, so I don't know how much more of a war we'll get. But I know Christmas will be canceled, and I think the biggest thing for me, I think Tommy is going to be completely just upset with himself that he did
Yeah.
not figure out that that Vic was a snitch, and I think that he's definitely going to backtrack everything to kind of like essentially figure out how he was infiltrated any way he was. But I don't know, man. I think there's some other little things too. We gotta think about the picture that was in place with Jenard and Shanti. Does that actually become a factor now? Jenard's picture? Do they deploy the plan with that? That definitely is not going to make it until next.
I don't think that's going to be a big thing anymore. It's always good to have something like that, but I don't think it's going to be used in an aspect to get through Tommy. At this point, Miguel wants Tommy dead no matter what anyway.
Yeah.
Like that's not going to be the focal point here of it. It's really going to be how all these moves are going to work. A play that seems like it's coming up between Diamond and Tommy, and it's going to be about the coalition and Leon. That's going to be the key piece that involves in it. And if Jenard believes this plan can work, of him completely separating Diamond from Tommy, and it be him, Diamond, and Shanti, only to find out that Shanti's going to partner with Claudia, and it's going to screw everything up.
Yeah. I think I also think that Mireya man, I think she's gonna really pitch this idea of getting out of the game. I think by the synopsis and how that's worded, I think Tommy's gonna have a choice of going to Barcelona or staying here running the empire. So I don't know.
Either that or because she wants to leave.
No, and exactly.
She gives an ultimatum because she wants to leave.
Yeah, that's what I meant. And I mean, Tommy's going to have to make the decision, or are you going to go with your love, or are you going to sit here and do what you're going to do, you know? So I would like to see Tommy go to Barcelona because the chances of him meeting up with Dominic Toretto just becomes so much more higher. And if there's one thing that Power's going to do, they're going to make it about family. Yeah.
Man, you talking about Dom? He going to meet up with Brian first.
You're right. You're right. So, yeah, I'm excited, man. I think there's going to be a lot going on here.
Oh yeah.
And we'll be back to talk about it then. But until then, folks, you all get in the comments, let us know your thoughts about tonight's episode. We'll see you obviously on Sunday with our live show, and then obviously we got one more to go for this season, and we're back for that next week. Give us your thoughts, your predictions. And until then, y'all be safe. And remember, it's always about family. See y'all then.